Kathy here. Today is what we in New England call a wicked hot day. Now if you live in the Southwest and you hear 90 degrees, that might not sound so bad to you. But with a dew point of 72 today, it is sweat-inducing heat. So yeah, pretty warm. And even though we're feeling it, our plants are feeling it too. And I thought this was a good day to talk about siting your hydrangeas. Some hydrangeas like the sun and don't mind the heat, and others really aren't too happy with it. So let's take a look at a few and we'll talk about what they want and where they'd like to be. Now here's a good example of siting of hydrangea right here. There actually are 3 different varieties of hydrangea in this single picture. You can see that there are some very pink hydrangea arborescens. That's Invincible Spirit. There also are some lace cap hydrangea serata or mountain hydrangea. There's also some big leaf hydrangea or hydrangea macrophylla. Let's take a better look at those. Now, this Invincible Spirit hydrangea or hydrangea arborescens is in full sun right now. This is around noontime and it is absolutely loving the sun. This is hydrangea that can take a full day of sun and be very, very happy with it. In fact, if you put it in too much shade, you're not going to get these copious blooms. Now the hydrangea that is immediately behind the Invincible Spirit is a hydrangea macrophylla, and that one is Let's Dance Moonlight. And you can see it's in the shade right now. Right next to it is a Twist and Shout, which is also a hydrangea macrophylla, just a lace cap variety. It's also in the shade right now. Those were in the sun earlier this morning, but because they're not in the heat of the day sun, you don't get any wilting, any problems with water evaporation that causes the leaves to curl. They're looking very, very happy right now. This hydrangea hedge, which is a hedge of macrophylla hydrangeas, the mophead type, it has a little bit of trouble in the sun. Now we've had sun in the morning, and what's happening is we're getting wilting on the flowers. And you can see how these flowers are just looking a little sad here. They're not looking the way they should. They should be nice and big and full like these, and instead they're very open and starting to wilt. Now, fortunately, this hydrangea has got a very large American holly over it. So for the rest of the day, it's going to have some nice shade. But here the same thing is happening over here. Look at this. And we do give these water, so it is not a water issue. And you can see the wilting going on this very, very hot day. And what's going to happen is that those flowers are now going to start browning. So the flowers that are wilting are not going to look as pretty for as long. Now here are 2 more macrophylla hydrangea. The one on the right is a Let's Dance Blue Jangles. The one on the left is a Let's Dance Diva. And this is again an example of a hydrangea in too much sun. And you can see what's happening. We have leaves that are curling. And of course, if they curl too much, they start turning brown. We have flowers that are wilting in amongst these curling leaves. Now, we did not intentionally plant these hydrangea in an area where they were going to get all day sun like this. There had been a very large black cherry tree behind them that gave them nice afternoon shade when they were originally planted. and that tree was damaged in a winter storm and we had to take it down. So we're going to move these. We had hoped to move them this spring. We didn't get around to it. So unfortunately, they're going to be suffering a little bit this year. And it's not a water issue. I water these regularly. In fact, I watered them this morning. And you still can see we've got significant wilting. And when you get wilting, you end up getting premature browning of flowers and leaves. So it's just a case where in the hot, hot sun, there is more moisture escaping from the leaves faster than the roots can pull it up and replace it. So if you're seeing this, then you may want to move your hydrangea to a place where it has morning sun and afternoon shade. Now, this macrophylla hydrangea is a bloomstruck, and as you can see, this one is in shade right now. In fact, you can see way up behind it. I don't know if you can see that, but you can see there's bright sun back there. You can see the incredible back there. This one happens to be in shade right now. However, as the sun moves around and moves past this very, very large copper beech, this hydrangea is going to be in the sun, but it's late day sun. It's probably not going to be in the sun until, maybe 2:30 or so till till the end of the day, I guess. And it can handle that just fine. It just does not like that hot noonday sun. Now, this is the mountain hydrangea. This is Tough Stuff. And it's a hydrangea serata, lace cap type. Now this one is in shade right now as well. It did get morning sun, but I'm going to show you the back side of this plant because this is the front side that had morning sun and has afternoon shade. But let's go take a look at the back side of it, which is in a lot of shade. Now this is the back side of the Tough Stuff hydrangea, the hydrangea serata. And you can see that there are very, very few blooms on it, because it is in quite deep shade. The reason is not because we intentionally put it in this much shade, but we have a very, very large magnolia tree right behind it. And this tree was much, much smaller when we originally planted this hydrangea, which at this point had to be 20 years ago. So we have two choices. We can leave it like this and just accept the fact that the backside is not going to get much blooms. Or we can go in and we can thin out the branches on this tree to get it some more sun all the way around, which I think is the direction that we're going to go in. But if you plant your hydrangea in this much shade, be it a macrophylla hydrangea or a hydrangea serata, you may find that the shadiest part of the plant, say the plant that's against the house as opposed to out toward a little bit more light, is going to have fewer flowers, if any. Now here is a little Quickfire Hydrangea. This is a Panacle Hydrangea, and the flowers are just getting going on it. And you can see that this one is planted actually behind the Invincible Spirit and next to the Hydrangea macrophylla, the Let's Dance Moonlight. But this one is out from the magnolia tree quite a bit, and it is getting full sun in the afternoon. It gets a little bit of morning shade, and then it is gloriously in the sun. And you can see that it has plenty of flowers. It has plenty of buds. Panacle Hydrangea are another sun lover. And if you want flowers, you'd best give it what it wants. The other hydrangea that really hasn't gotten started yet, although I can see little buds on it, is this massive PG hydrangea. This is a tree hydrangea, absolutely huge. It gets covered with flowers, but it's some of the later flowers that come out. Another nice smooth hydrangea basking in the full sun. Likes the same conditions as this butterfly bush. Now this incredible, the more sun you give it, the happier it is. And these flowers have just been getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The bees do like them too. They do tend to like the arborescence type of hydrangea. And moving over a little bit, here is a little quickfire. And this little quickfire is also a sun lover. And you can see the flowers are all starting on here. They're still very green, but they're going to open up to a beautiful white, very, very loose sort of flower. And then eventually they're going to get very, very red in the fall. But again, this is a Panacle Hydrangea, and it's very, very happy in the sun. Now if I pan over from the little quickfire, you can see there's a very nice sambucus here. And what's next to it is a bobo. A bobo is another type of Panacle Hydrangea. This one takes a little longer to get going, but will end up with beautiful white flowers. And again, another sun lover. And moving over from that, behind our incredible is another type of invincible spirit hydrangea, another hydrangea arborescens that is very, very happy bathing in the sun. This tiny little arborescens hydrangea. This is a wee white. This is one that we moved here earlier this season. It didn't even know it got moved. It was moved so early in the spring. And it had been an area where it was getting a little too much shade. Now, it's in shade right now. It's going to be in the sun shortly. And once it's in the sun, it'll be in the sun for the rest of the day. And that seems to be plenty for it. Now, behind the hydrangea macrophylla in the foreground, there is a quickfire hydrangea. That quickfire is easily 12 feet tall. I think there were two of them there. It got sun through the morning. It's getting a couple of hours of shade, and it will get bright sun throughout the afternoon. And as you can see, it is blooming away very, very happily. Now, Oakleaf Hydrangea are actually very versatile plants. They can take a lot of sun. They can also take quite a bit of shade. Now, this Gatsby Moon was actually in the sun all morning, and it's now in shade. And as you can see, it looks pretty darn good. The tiny tough stuff mountain hydrangeas on either side of the walkway were also in sun all morning, are now in the shade. And again, very, very happy. Now here's another Oakleaf Hydrangea. This one is Ruby Slippers, and it is in sun now. It's been in sun all morning. It won't get any shade until probably maybe 2:30 is when a little bit of shade starts coming in here. And it also is very, very happy. Hello again. I decided to go to the beach to escape the heat of the day. And it was much nicer down there. It probably was about 87 degrees with a sea breeze. So a lot nicer than it was at my house. I left there at about 3 o'clock, and because I knew I was filming this segment, I decided to pay special attention to the different hydrangeas that I saw along the way home. And as I passed through a number of the seaside neighborhoods, I saw lots and lots of hydrangeas in the front yards, basking in the full sun. And every single one of them was showing signs of stress, signs of wilting. So if anybody tells you that it doesn't happen to hydrangeas on the seashore, I can tell you that it does, as long as the conditions are right. And again, has nothing to do with how much water they may be getting. And in fact, I left just in time because that's when the thunderstorms came through. And you can see some of my own hydrangeas in the front yard are all drooping now because the rain came down so hard. But that's okay, they'll perk up very soon. I hope you enjoyed talking about hydrangeas with me today, and I look forward to seeing you again next time on Gardening Genes. In the meantime, have a wonderful day in the garden. Bye.